Welcome back to the deep dive. Have you ever had one of those mornings where you wake up and, I don't know, before your feet even hit the floor, you feel like you're already behind?
Oh, absolutely.
Like the day has it's tackled you before you've even had a chance to open your eyes.
Right. And then you compare that to those other days, the really good ones, where you feel like you're on a victory lap by 9:00 a.m.
Exactly. And the question we're grappling with today is, is that difference just luck? Is it random? Or is there actually a code we can crack here?
It's the eternal question, isn't it?
Hmm.
We tend to think a good day is something that just happens to us, like the weather.
Yeah, you just hope it's sunny.
Exactly. But the materials we're looking at today, they suggest something completely different. We're looking at, well, engineering the perfect day.
Right, and we're not just going to recite the usual drink more water, check your email less advice. The water is definitely in there.
Water makes a big appearance, yes.
We have a really unusual stack of sources. We're combining a very, very structured text called The Blueprint for a Productive Morning with something else.
Something totally different.
Yeah.
Two narrative transcripts from a YouTube channel, English with Safe.
Which is such a fascinating choice for a productivity deep dive.
It really is. I was looking at these transcripts, and they're designed for what's called shadowing.
Shadowing. Can you explain that?
Sure. It's a language learning technique where you listen to a native speaker and you repeat what they say at the same time, like a shadow. It helps you get the rhythm, the intonation.
So just to be clear for you listening, we've got one source that's like the spreadsheet version of a morning, all hard numbers.
Yeah.
And another that's a cozy story designed to be spoken aloud over and over to kind of drill the concepts into your brain.
Exactly. So our mission is to decode the anatomy of this perfect daily cycle. And what's so cool is that while one source is about productivity and the other is for, learning English, they inadvertently map out a guide to what's called state management.
State management. That sounds a little clinical. What does that mean?
I mean, it's a term from psychology, really.
Yeah.
It just means using physical actions, like washing your face, sitting in a specific chair, to signal to your brain that it's time to switch gears.
So it's like a manual override?
It's a manual override for your mood, yeah, instead of waiting to feel like doing something.
I love that. Manual override. Because my autopilot definitely wants to stay in bed.
Mine too.
Okay, let's dive in. We'll break this down chronologically, but we're going to see how the two ends of the day, morning and evening, really connect.
And we're going to start with the morning, structure versus sensation.
Let's do structure first. This blueprint for a productive morning, it does not mess around.
No, it is incredibly tight.
I looked at this and thought, who actually lives like this? But let's break it down. Your day starts strictly between 5:30 and 6 a.m.
Which is, that's aggressive for a lot of people.
For sure. But the timing is maybe less important than the sequence of events.
Right, and the first action is immediate. Wake up, drink water.
Instantly.
Immediate hydration. It's crucial.
Yeah.
You've just gone maybe 8 hours without water. Your brain is physically dehydrated. You can't expect high performance from a shriveled organ.
Good point. Okay, so we hydrate. Then from 6:00 to 6:20, that's a 20-minute block.
For stretching or light exercise.
And right after that, 6:20 to 6:40 is meditation or deep breathing.
You see the blocks there, 20-minute segments.
Yeah.
It's not just exercise for a while. It's specific.
Why is that so important?
It prevents something called Parkinson's law, the idea that a task just expands to fill whatever time you give it.
Ah, okay.
By capping it at 20 minutes, the blueprint forces efficiency. You
Yeah.
get in, do the work, get out.
Right. Then it's breakfast from 6:40 to 7:00, then planning the day from 7:00 to 7:3. And here's where it got really interesting for me.
The next block.
Yeah, from 7:30 to 8:00 a.m., the blueprint says you should be reading a book, listening to a podcast, or learning something new. You don't start work until 8:40.
That really stands out, doesn't it? You've been up for 2.5 hours before you even think about checking an email.
Right.
That's the pay yourself first principle, but for your energy and focus.
What do you mean by that?
Well, if you start your day with email, you're immediately reacting. You're on defense. By exercising, meditating, and specifically learning first, you are investing in your own mind before you lease it out to your job.
It feels very efficient, like a machine booting up. But now let's pivot to the Safai morning routine story. This feels so different.
The narrative approach, yeah. It's less about the clock and more about, well, the texture of the morning, sensation.
Exactly. So she also wakes up at 6 a.m., but the first rule is about the alarm. It says, the alarm rings softly. I reach out and silence the phone immediately. No snooze button.
And that's the first psychological victory of the day.
A micro win.
A total micro win.
Mm.
Hitting snooze tells your brain you aren't ready for the day. Silencing it says, I'm in control.
But then listen to this detail. It says, slowly, I sit up and stretch my back until I hear a tiny pop.
The tiny pop.
That specific detail, it makes it so visceral. And then walking barefoot across a cool wooden floor.
See, that's sensory grounding, the cool wooden floor. It's physically waking up your nervous system through temperature, not just telling your brain it's time to wake up. It gets you out of your head.
And then hydration, but it's so specific. Filtered water with a slice of lemon, and she says, the cold water wakes up my system instantly.
So it's not just a chore, it's a trigger, the feeling of the cold shock.
Then there's the coffee. And I love this bit. She listens to the rhythmic hiss and drip of the machine.
It's almost meditative.
Yeah. And then the hygiene part. It mentions the minty scent of the toothpaste makes her feel sharp and alert.
Now that is a key insight. The scent of mint isn't just about being clean. She's using it as an olfactory cue.
An olfactory cue.
Yeah, it's associative conditioning, like Pavlov's dogs. If you always smell mint right before you become productive, eventually just the smell of mint will start to trigger focus.
So the blueprint gives us the what to do, but Safe's story gives us the how, the feeling that actually wires the brain to want to do it.
Precisely. You need the blueprint for the skeleton, but you need the narrative for the muscle and the connective tissue.
And they both meet up on this idea of mental prep. The blueprint has that 7 a.m. planning block. Safe's version is much cozier.
How does she describe it?
She sits in a favorite chair with a steaming mug, and the sun is peeking through the curtains. That's when she journals and plans her top 3 tasks.
Top 3 tasks, a classic tactic.
Yeah.
But the environment is key. Favorite chair, sunlight, warm mug. She's associating planning, which can be stressful, with safety and comfort.
It's like she's hacking her own brain to enjoy to work.
She is.
The source says this ritual clears the fog from my brain and makes her feel energized and ready to conquer the day.
So if we put them together, the perfect morning isn't just one or the other. It's the blueprint's discipline, that learning before working idea with Safe's sensory mindfulness. You need the schedule, but you also need to feel the cool floor and smell the mint.
But here's the twist. We obsess over the morning, right? We think if we just wake up earlier, everything gets fixed.
Right.
But our other source, the evening routine story, argues that the morning actually begins the night before.
This is the missing link for so many people. The evening isn't just for crashing. This source frames it as decompression and reset.
So let's look at that. The evening narrative starts the moment you get home from work. It describes a threshold ritual.
Right. It says, I take off my shoes, hang up my coat, and pause for a moment.
That pause seems so important. It's to let go of the stress and noise of the day. It's like a boundary marker.
It's a psychological airlock. Most of us just walk in the door and immediately start complaining or checking our phone. We're physically home, but mentally we are still at work. This pause closes the work tab in your brain.
And look, the water ritual again. I wash my hands and face with cool water, feeling refreshed and clean.
It's the reset button. Water is the recurring theme for state change. It's primal.
Then the clothing change. Into comfortable clothes to feel relaxed and free.
It's uniform management for your life. You wouldn't wear work stress to the dinner table. You change clothes, you shed the persona of the employee.
And speaking of dinner, the source says it should be light and healthy.
Which is huge for sleep quality.
Yeah.
If your body is digesting a heavy meal, your sleep architecture just suffers. You might be unconscious, but you're not really resting.
And it describes mindful eating. Sitting at a table, not in front of the TV, savoring the food, then sipping warm tea slowly to enjoy the calming warmth.
Again, the temperature shift. The morning was cold water, sharp, alert. The evening is warm tea, calming. They're using temperature to regulate the body's clock.
Then you get a choice, social or solitude.
What are the 2 paths?
If you're with family, it's about sharing stories, laughter, or even just calm silence together.
That calm silence detail is so good. You don't have to fill every moment. It's just being alone together.
And if you're by yourself, it suggests soft, soothing music or reading a book that inspires or comforts.
So contrast that with the morning reading. The blueprints was about learning, acquisition. This evening reading is about comfort. It's a lower cognitive load.
Like a textbook versus a novel.
Exactly.
Okay, now this brings us to what I think is the absolute game changer in this whole deep dive. You said the evening sets up the morning. There's a specific tactic here that proves it.
The tidy up.
Yes. The routine involves tidying the space and organizing your stuff for the next day. Clothes, work bag, everything.
Which, let's be honest, is the last thing anyone wants to do at 9 p.m.
Right. But the source says, I carefully plan small tasks so the morning feels easier and less rushed.
Easier and less rushed.
Yeah.
That is the entire point. You're fighting against something called decision fatigue.
Decision fatigue.
Yeah. Every little decision, what to wear, where are my keys, what's for breakfast, it burns a tiny bit of your willpower. By making those decisions the night before, you preserve all that mental energy for the big stuff in the morning.
So you're basically being a really good assistant to your future self.
A great assistant. You're removing friction. If your gym clothes are laid out, you're more likely to go. If you have to find them at 6 a.m., you're probably not going.
The source also says a clean space helps the mind feel peaceful.
It reduces visual noise. Clutter is basically a to-do list that's yelling at you.
Speaking of noise, there's also screen discipline.
Of course.
Consciously reducing screen time, turning off the phone, dimming the lights, creating a cozy atmosphere.
Which is just good science. Blue light from screens suppresses melatonin, the sleep hormone. Dimming the lights is a primal signal to your body that it's nighttime.
And then just before sleep, there's a mental shift. Gratitude. Reflecting on positive moments and small wins.
The goal there is to shift focus away from stress or worries. If you go to bed ruminating on a problem, your brain chews on it all night. You don't rest.
So we've tidied, dimmed the lights, we're feeling grateful. Now we hit the final descent, the sleep state.
And it's an active process, not just passing out.
Right. It describes lying in bed, feeling the softness of the sheets, that sensory detail again, and taking a slow, deep breath to sink into relaxation.
Releasing tension until the muscles feel loose and calm.
And the mind becomes quiet. The promise is so direct. Falling asleep fully relaxed ensures waking up refreshed and energized. It's cause and effect.
So if we zoom out, what we're really seeing is a series of manufactured state changes.
A startup and a shutdown.
Exactly. The startup is designed to ramp up energy, cold water, stretching, learning. The shutdown is designed to ramp down warm tea, tidying, gratitude.
And the actual workday just kind of slots in between.
It does. But I want to go back to the very beginning. Remember, the SAFE sources are shadowing exercises for learning English.
Right, you listen and repeat.
Think about the meta layer there. Shadowing is about building muscle memory. You repeat the phrases until they become automatic.
So by using these routines as language practice,
You are literally programming the habit into your speech centers. If you say the phrase, I take off my shoes and pause for a moment 500 times to work on your accent, you're also internalizing that pause as a concept. You're rehearsing the behavior.
that is fascinating. You're not just learning the grammar of the sentence, you're learning the grammar of the routine itself.
It makes you wonder. We always wait for motivation to strike to fix our lives. But maybe it's not about motivation. Maybe it's just rehearsal.
Like an actor learning their lines.
Yes. You rehearse the evening to protect the morning. You rehearse the morning to conquer the day.
And I really love that the morning isn't actually the start. The sources make it so clear that the morning is manufactured the night before.
It creates a virtuous cycle. If you treat your evening shutdown with the same discipline as your startup, you stop relying on willpower. You don't need willpower if the path is already clear.
So the morning feels easier. That's the line that really stuck with me. We make it so hard on ourselves.
We really do.
Well, this has definitely made me rethink how I'm going to walk through my front door tonight.
The threshold ritual. Don't skip it.
I won't. I'll hang up the coat and pause, and maybe I'll listen for that tiny pop tomorrow morning.
Absolutely.
So here's a thought to leave you with. We've talked about timelines and sensory details, but think about this. If the quality of your morning is determined by the quality of your evening, are you really working a double shift? Or are you just investing in your future self? The sources suggest that a productive morning is manufactured the night before. So if we treat our evening shutdown with the same discipline as our morning startup, does the need for willpower eventually just disappear? Does the perfect day stop being a struggle and start becoming your default setting?
That is the goal.
Thanks for diving deep with us today. We'll see you in the next one.